Hello everybody, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, making another video for you. This is going to be part 2 of removing the Ford Triton spark plugs without breaking them, without using a tool. Okay, now I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I have been shown in my time by my mentors a way to remove these spark plugs without breaking them and without the need for a tool. I've done this job quite a few times now, and so far I've never broken one. I would have to say this job compared to other ones is not as bad. I have already removed one plug, and yes, it took forever to get it out without breaking it, but it did come out without the use of chemicals. Now I am going to be using chemicals to remove the other plugs, so I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that. In the meantime, let me find my dog. Ruby, come on. I'm going to put my dog inside. Most of the time some of the time she's becoming part of these videos, but come on Ruby, go inside. Good dog. Okay, so just to recap, first off, we disconnected the battery. We have removed the computer and the bracket so we could get access to the back plugs back there. We have removed the air filter and the cleaner, the breather, all that, whatever you want to call that. Now this one was a little bit different. It was just, clipped in there, so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to get it out, but it will just pop out. That's all it does. We also have set aside our power steering pump reservoir, and there's nothing wrong again with bending this because it will go back, as you can see, bolt back where it needs to go. The bracket we've also removed out of our way, and we have disconnected our fuel injectors and our coils, and we've got all that out of the way and most of our electrical connections. Now these spark plugs, they're a special plug considered to be a 100,000 mile plug, and see if I can show you one here. Okay, I'm going to show you. Alright, so here you go. The spark plug looks funky, huh? Unlike any other spark plug, okay? And so the Triton 3-valve engine is the reason this spark plug, I bet you could trace back. This spark plug probably cost about $1 million or more. You're probably thinking, how the heck does this spark plug cost $1 million or more? Well, I'll tell you how this spark plug costs $1 million or more. That's engineering right there. A lot of people were paid to blueprint and come up with a special spark plug that would fit this engine due to their design. That's how it cost $1 million or more. So it's a horribly designed spark plug. Okay, and what happens is it sits inside of the cylinder head. This piece right here sits inside of the cylinder head, and then it screws down in there. And what happens is carbon builds up, rust, whatever you want to call it, builds up right here and right here. So when you go to turn it, this piece will break off. You can see the way it's designed. This piece right here and this piece, it'll break off. Okay, and you'll come out with half a spark plug, or this piece will be completely stuck inside of the engine. All right, and that's not a good thing. So what most people do is, I believe most shops will spend $400 or $500 for the special tool to drill and tap all this out of there. I've known people to spend thousands of dollars replacing heads and engines because of this deal. And there is a way to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and I'll show it to you. So right now I was able to remove the front spark plug there, number one, and it definitely had some carbon on it. If you watched the first video, you'll see it there. I don't think I have it sitting over here. So this is going to be a fun job. Now then, we're going to use a mixture of seafoam and PB Blaster penetrating oil. Now, I have never strayed from these brands for this mixture due to the chemical makeup of the two. All right, and I was taught all this myself by a wonderful mentor that I used to have. He's still around, but he's no longer my mentor. We've parted ways, so, and it was obviously a good thing. So, but anyways, so PB Blaster seafoam, and what you're gonna do is first you're gonna get the spark plug to turn, and that's where some of the mastery comes in, okay? Because I can't really tell you exactly how to do it. Now then, there is a mathematical formula that backs up extensions, okay? Because you do lose torque over distance, all right? So the longer the extension is, the less torque. I don't care how strong you are, how much torque you think you can produce. When you put this together, okay, like this, and now you're in here like so, okay, and you're turning this, you lose torque over distance, all right? So I use a long extension and a short extension, and sometimes I add another one so I don't get too much torque on there and I, you know, end up breaking a plug, all right? And again, you know, for anybody that might want to comment, this isn't a surefire way. This is just a way that I have mastered, and so if you break a plug, I greatly apologize for you there. So we use a cap full. So what we do, okay, is you break it, and you, all right, and you'll hear it. You can feel it and you can hear it. You just, and you open those threads up, and you got to think in measurements of a fraction of a hair, okay? And all you're trying to do is break up the molecules. You're literally trying to affect this on the molecular level with chemicals, okay? So you just you'll hear it and you stop as soon as you hear it click or make any noise. You stop, okay? And you pour a cap full of seafoam in there, and you give it a blast of PB Blaster, all right? And that measurement will give you just enough that it'll start seeping its way down into the threads, and it'll start working down in here. And then every 30 minutes or so, you're just going to come back and then you're going to put another capful in there, give it another blast. What you don't want to do is pour a bunch of this down inside of there and then let it sit. And the reason being is you want just enough to get down inside of the threads and just enough to get down inside of the plug, but you really don't want this stuff getting down inside of the cylinder. It will evaporate off so long as you have the correct measurement in there. So we're going to set those aside. We're going to set this guy aside. Now for the Ford spark plug, you're going to want a 9/16 socket or a 9/16 socket wrench. A 9/16 spark plug socket. Okay. And if you're holding your breath while I'm doing this procedure, don't feel bad, because I always hold my breath too. They say statistically, an automotive technician or an automotive mechanic's job is one of the most stressful jobs. There's a reason for that. Okay, folks. Let's see what happens here. Okay, now I'm just laying my body over the radiator and the fan shroud. I'm gonna get myself comfortable so I can work this. All right, here we go. Okay, so that's broken now. You heard it turn? Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, that type of turn is not good. Okay, that was a lot, like that. So, we're not even gonna chance it. Here we go. What we're gonna wanna do, if you have compressed air, great. If you can at least get you a small can of compressed air, that would be the best deal for this job. Dirt likes to get down inside of there, again, due to its design. So before you pour these chemicals in there, just give it a blast. Here's some babies. Oh no, those are kids outside. I thought they were my kids. Hold on. Okay, so now what just happened was we broke that. So we didn't break the spark plug. We broke that carbon hole. You heard it when I turned it. You heard that noise. So now we're gonna get our concoction together here in hopes of that becoming much more easier to get out, and also in hopes of not damaging. So I'm using a cap full of sea foam. And the majority of that didn't even get down in there. Okay. There we go. So I'm using a cap full of sea foam there. And actually, you see what I'm doing here with the penetrating oil. Okay, and a small cap of penetrating oil. All right, folks. I'm gonna let that sit there for a few minutes. Go grab a cup of coffee. And hopefully, over the course of the next 5 or 10 minutes, I don't know. I'm not gonna let it sit that long. I don't wanna make this video too extremely long. And also, when we turned it that first time, I'd say we got a good half a turn that time. So that means those threads are going to be open pretty well. And right now, this seafoam and that penetrating oil are down in there doing their job, breaking up all that carbon inside of there so we can get this plug out. Much easier. In the meantime, a few other things we have going on. I really hope to be finished with this Chevy. I think I'll be finished with this Chevy probably by mid next week. You can see the milkshake that's been created due to the what I believe now is just the intake gaskets, okay? And I'll make a video and explain how an intake gasket on a Chevy can also look like a blown head gasket as well, and how they get often mistaken one for the other. So I'll make a video for you on that one. Well, you know, sometimes all you need is 30 seconds. Sometimes you need half an hour. And that's based off of, you know, your chemicals here. And that's going to be based off of your next turn on how that's going to go, okay? Alright, so here we go, folks. And I hope I got a good camera angle for you here. Okay, see, there you go. Look at that. Okay, it's getting harder again. Okay, so now that it's open, and as you can hear it, it is seized up inside of there. Let's go ahead and do it again. I like this cap better. It's easier to work with. I think on this second one, I'm not going to put any more penetrating oil in there. All right. I'll let that soak for a few minutes there. So this is the joy and fun of taking out Ford 5.4 liter Triton spark plugs. You get to hurry up and wait at times. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug my compressed air in again. Give that 30 seconds to a minute. And just in case, I may want to clear some of those chemicals out of that cylinder before I open it all the way up. All right. Let's see what happens now. Much smoother. Much smooth. Look at that. All right. And so, like I said, these are about as easy as it gets. All right, I bet you the chemical has reached about there. Yeah, all right. And I can see there's still a little chemical in there, so we're gonna let that sit. Dun, dun, dun. And so what's happening right now is that chemical is working its way down the threads, down into here, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's eating up all the carbon in there, and that's what's making it easier for me to turn. What you're hearing is not the threads. You're hearing this stuck inside. All right, it's never good to drop a spark plug. And so what you're hearing is this stuck inside of there. And so, thank God I didn't crack that spark plug. If I did, no worries, I would have went and got another one myself. All right. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. There we go. See that chemical worked its way down, and we'll keep going. Okay, so at this point, you're gonna want to stop for a second, and you're gonna want to use your compressed air to go ahead and start cleaning out that cylinder of any excess chemicals you might have in there. Because like I said, you don't want to dump a bunch of chemicals in there, and if you do, I would suggest if you have to wait an hour or two, if you have to wait 4 hours, you have to wait overnight for it to evaporate out of the cylinder before you put your plug back in, I would suggest you do that. Whew. Or you can take a small can of compressed air, or if you have an air compressor, and just blow the excess out of there. There you go, folks. All right. I think I need to go grab my magnet real quick. There it is, and look, you can see how that chemical worked? It sunk down in there. Look at that, it got in there, and look at all that carbon and crud. Look at that, it allowed that plug to come out of there. Isn't that nasty? And so there's a little bit of math in the form of the extensions that you want to use, a little bit of chemistry in the form of chemicals that you want to do, physics. It all comes together, and if you can have some patience and don't gorilla it, you can get these plugs out without breaking them. Okay, everybody, well, I need to go check on the kiddos, and I need to work on the rest of these plugs, so I'll make another video and I'll show you how I get to these back plugs and the extension setup that I use to make sure I don't break those ones. And we'll go from there. Well, everybody, this is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. I am signing off.